In a world obsessed with physical dominance and outward success, Marcus Aurelius offered a radically different definition of strength, one rooted in discipline, humility, and inner control. But mastering oneself, it was about doing the right thing even when it's hard, keeping calm under pressure, and living by principle rather than emotion. This guide explores the teachings of Marcus Aurelius on what it really means to be strong, not just in body or title, but in soul. As a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, he held unmatched power, yet lived with restraint, wisdom, and compassion. His private journal, now known as Meditations, wasn't written for the world, but for himself, a manual to stay grounded amidst chaos, temptation, and suffering. True strength, he believed, wasn't about dominating others. 5 Stoic ways to be strong. 1. Mastering the self, the foundation of true power. Marcus Aurelius believed that the greatest strength a person could possess wasn't physical might or worldly influence, it was self-mastery. To him, the true battlefield was within. While ruling the most powerful empire in the world, he still reminded himself daily not to be ruled by anger, pleasure, ego, or anxiety. That takes an immense kind of inner discipline, a strength that doesn't shout but endures, that doesn't lash out but restrains, and that doesn't seek praise, but quietly remains true to its values. What kind of person will I be today? Not according to public opinion, not according to convenience, but according to character. And that's where strength begins, not in dominating others, but in leading yourself. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Marcus often reflected on his own faults, not to wallow in guilt, but to understand and overcome them. But Marcus would ask, is your response dictated by your environment or by your principles? Marcus reminded himself often, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. These words reflect a man who knew that real strength is just about force, it is about discipline, clarity, and restraint. It's about becoming your own commander. True strength, he would say, is the ability to respond instead of react, to stand firm in values while others wavered, to say no when everyone else says yes. He didn't excuse his anger or pride, he examined them. He didn't ignore his fears, he faced them with reason. He saw every emotion as a signal, not a sentence. And by disciplining the mind, he kept himself anchored, even when the world around him was in chaos. Realize this, and you will find strength, and reveals the first and most essential step to becoming truly powerful, conquering the self. This simple yet profound insight lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. For Marcus, every external victory was meaningless if you hadn't first won the war against your own impulses, fears, and desires. Self-mastery starts with awareness. In today's world, we're constantly provoked by opinions, by media, by stress and noise. Self-mastery also means accepting what we cannot control. 2. Endure and prevail, the strength of patience and resilience. Marcus Aurelius lived during a time of war, plague, betrayal, and political instability, yet through it all, he remained steady. His writings often return to a simple, Stoic truth: life will test you, but your response is your strength. But Marcus teaches us to use adversity as a teacher, enduring strength that holds the line when emotions rage and circumstances shake. It's not about being numb or indifferent. When betrayal hurt him, he didn't seek revenge. When people lied about him, he reminded himself that others' actions don't define him. His response does. Every time you resist the urge to complain, you grow stronger. But, as Marcus shows us, strength is not in avoiding those tests, it's in walking through them with grace, patience, and unwavering resolve. Every time you respond to chaos with calm, you build resilience. Every time you choose character over comfort, you're living the very strength Marcus Aurelius admired. If you are distressed by anything external, he wrote, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. It's about facing life with open eyes, accepting what comes, and staying rooted in reason. Marcus didn't deny pain, he accepted it and moved forward anyway. He believed that everything we suffer can be transformed into fuel for growth, if we have the courage to endure it with the right mindset. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, he wrote. To Marcus, hardship wasn't a sign of weakness or failure, it was the proving ground of inner power. True strength isn't revealed when life is easy. It emerges in difficulty and loss, rejection, illness, uncertainty. Most people crumble under pressure. This is what the Stoics called fortitude acquired. When death surrounded him, he didn't panic. Patience is not weakness. In fact, it's one of the rarest forms of strength in a world addicted to speed and reaction. Marcus knew that lasting change, both internal and external, comes slowly. He practiced self-restraint, delayed gratification, and the long view. Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be, he wrote. Be one. That's the heart of resilient living, showing up over and over, even when no one sees, even when results aren't instant. To endure is to win the battle most people don't even realize they're fighting. Life will test you, it always does. 3. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. At the core of Marcus Aurelius' strength was his clarity, his ability to separate what was within his control from what wasn't. This idea may seem simple, but living by it requires daily discipline and deep self-awareness. He could not control how long he would live, or how others would act, or even the fate of Rome. But what he could control was his character, his mindset, and his actions. And to him, that was enough. In his meditations, Marcus constantly reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. It takes more strength to let go than to cling. It takes more courage to accept than to resist. It's easy to lash out when you don't get your way. It's harder, and far stronger, to remain steady and thoughtful when life doesn't obey your expectations. Many of us live in mental turmoil because we are trying to control the uncontrollable. We want people to like us. We want the weather to change when plans fall apart. You can't change the disruption, but you can adjust your attitude. Marcus wrote, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. You can fight them and exhaust yourself, or you can meet them with wisdom, acceptance, and clarity. That's the strength Marcus Aurelius lived by. To focus your will where it matters most and let the rest go. In other words, if you can master your inner world, the outer world loses its power to disturb you. We want time to slow down. We fight reality, as if resistance will rewrite the facts. Is this something I can change, or must I simply respond well? This question gave him peace. It made him unshakable. And it can do the same for us. But Marcus teaches that peace and true strength come only when we stop wasting energy on what we cannot change. He faced assassination plots, rebellion, and personal loss. When someone insults you, you don't control their words, but you control your response. This mindset isn't about passivity, it's about power. Even in moments of great distress, Marcus turned inward, asking himself, every day, you are presented with events outside your control. 4. The warrior within, courage without arrogance. To Marcus Aurelius, courage was not about charging into battle for glory. It was about standing firm in your values. Even when the world pushes against you, true strength, he believed, is not loud or boastful, it is quiet resolve, rooted in principle. He faced grief, betrayal, illness, and loneliness. He endured long nights with a heavy crown on his head and heavier thoughts in his heart. And yet, he wrote, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. This isn't coldness, it's courage. It's choosing action over complaint. It's choosing duty over comfort. Can you speak the truth even when it costs you something? Can you resist the urge to boast, dominate, or strike back? If you can, then you're already walking the path Marcus Aurelius walked, the path of the inner warrior. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he wrote. That is the Stoic warrior, one who fights not for attention or applause, but for integrity. Courage, in the Stoic tradition, is never divorced from wisdom. Marcus rejected the idea of reckless bravery or empty pride. The warrior within is guided not by ego, but by reason. In today's world, many confuse anger with courage or dominance with power. But Marcus Aurelius shows us a different model: restraint as bravery, forgiveness as strength, and humility as power. He teaches that it takes far more courage to remain just and kind in a corrupt world than it does to lash out or seek revenge. He meets fear not with bluster, but with clarity. He doesn't need to prove himself, he simply is himself, grounded in what he knows is right. Think of the battles Marcus fought, not just military campaigns, but inner wars. This kind of strength is rare. He was an emperor who often reminded himself, do not be Caesarified. In other words, don't let the throne go to your head. Don't let status, success, or power distort who you are. That warning remains relevant today. We rise by staying grounded. We lead by remaining humble. The warrior Marcus imagined didn't need a sword, he needed discipline. He needed to wake up each morning and choose virtue. No matter how tired or discouraged he felt, that is the kind of strength that changes lives. That is the kind of courage that endures. Ask yourself today, can you face your fears without being ruled by them? 5. Emotional fortitude. Staying calm in chaos. Marcus Aurelius ruled during one of the most turbulent times in Roman history: wars on the borders, plagues within the empire, political betrayals, and personal tragedies. And yet, his meditations are not filled with panic or rage. For Marcus, even emotional upheaval could become a tool for growth if approached with the right mindset. Rather than be consumed by anxiety or anger, when fear rises, we ask, what am I afraid of? But Marcus held himself to a higher standard. When you wake up in the morning, but Marcus teaches otherwise, or bad news arrives, your strength is not in controlling the situation, but in controlling yourself. Do you remain calm? Do you keep your dignity? Do you stay true to your principles? That is what Marcus practiced, but day by day, like a muscle. And that is what made him unshakable. Emotions are responses, and we can shake those responses with training, reflection, and reason, as Marcus Aurelius shows us. This kind of emotional fortitude isn't born from denial, it's born from deep wisdom, daily discipline, and the unrelenting pursuit of virtue over impulse. That's how emotional strength is built, not overnight. Tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good, and I am not harmed. This wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. By expecting difficulty, he refused to be caught off guard. He armored his mind with anticipation and acceptance. Is it within my control? When anger surges, we pause and ask, will this reaction serve anyone, including me? Marcus taught that emotional mastery comes from pausing between the stimulus and the response, from thinking before reacting. He asked himself, is this reaction helpful? Because he understood that emotional fortitude, the ability to stay steady regardless of external storms, is the mark of true strength. Is it necessary? Is it based on truth? This is the discipline of emotional resilience. They're filled with calm clarity and reason. Why, he wrote, the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes. The obstacle to our acting, the impediment to action, advances action. Stoicism doesn't ask us to suppress our emotions, but to understand them, to notice them without being ruled by them. This is not easy. It's far simpler to explode, complain, blame, or withdraw. We often believe that emotions just happen to us. When chaos strikes, when someone insults you, plans fall apart. True power is the ability to walk through fire without letting the flames inside you. It's remaining still while the world spins madly around you.